What's going on, y'all? My name is Jay Faith, and this is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast, where we sit down, make connections through conversations, help others grow in whatever it is that they're doing in their lives. I want to say God bless everybody. This is a MoCG Media production right here at 41st Studios in Dracut, Mass. Shout out to them for allowing us to be here. Appreciate them for all that they do for us here. Enough about that. We got episode 40 on the way right here tonight. We got some local legends, some great, beautiful people here with us tonight. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and explain a little bit about what they do, and we'll kind of go from there and see what's happening.
Yes, sir. Hello, my name is Fee the Evolutionist. I'm an MC from Nashua, Gate City. I write, produce, record, and perform. And joining me today, we have...
My name is Ruby. How's everyone doing? Ruby Shabazz. I'm a singer, performer, songwriter, and I've been doing my thing for on and off for a while with Fee the Evolutionist here.
Word.
I also sing, record, perform, write, and I love what I do.
Nice. Well, welcome. I've always wanted to know, how long have you guys been kind of working together? I know you said for a while now, but what kind of sparked the bond of you're dope, I'm dope, let's do music together?
Yeah, it's been over 20 years.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
She said a little bit.
I always do that, and people say you're underselling it, but yeah, it's been 20 or more years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And me and my boy, Professor Lyrical, had a group called Excalibur back in the days.
Okay.
We pressed up records, and we needed a vocalist. I felt like we needed a vocalist. So I was actually auditioning singers, and I went to a show and heard her. And I was like, oh, that's the voice. So since then, we worked together, and we've been a couple. It was we worked together for 5 years before.
Before we were a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, we were always hanging around each other
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
So
something's usually bound to spark somewhere in there. Yeah, for sure.
It was funny
Yeah.
though. We were like, if we try to get together as a couple and it doesn't work, it's not gonna be cool because the music thing will probably fall by the wayside. But it worked out. We
had too much in common. I mean, we already knew we had good chemistry, hanging out all the time.
Right.
So yeah, I went to school at UMass Lowell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Riverhogs.
So
Yep.
I went to school there some time ago, and I was always looking to perform and be with a band. So I did this. I did this show with a local band. I think it was a competition that the school had put together.
Yeah.
And
Dr. Smooth.
Dr. Smooth,
Dr.
yes.
Smooth. Okay.
And a lot of the musicians I'm still cool with now. So yeah, we had a competition, and our band came up, and I was a front woman. And yeah, I wanted to win, so I was just showing off.
You guys killed it.
Yeah,
Did you win?
I think we did win.
Nice,
Yeah, I'm pretty
nice.
sure we won.
Nice.
So he was at that show. I was just having a good time. I was singing my heart out. I was really performing. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just having fun with it. It's not like I had just started really performing, and I just knew I wanted to do it. So, anyways, he was at that show,
But
and that's how we met.
I think the reason I was at that show is because Jeff Commander
Oh, okay.
was because he knew what I was trying to do.
Looking for, yeah.
And he's like, you gotta check her out.
Really?
Yeah.
I
And
think I
so-
forgot that
Nice.
part.
Yeah.
Didn't remember that part.
You should go to the show.
Yeah.
But I also knew everybody in that band.
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Smooth,
yeah.
Ben, and all those guys
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
you guys tore it down.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, you killed it.
we had a
Especially
good
your
time.
first few times performing. That's
I knew I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I just put it all out there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We had fun.
Shout out to the Riverhawks, making it happen, making connections everywhere.
Absolutely.
That's dope. And you guys are from New Hampshire, right? New Hampshire
Yeah,
area,
I was-
repping the Granite
I was
State.
born in Lowell.
Oh, okay. Me too.
Mill
Up this
City.
way.
Mill
Yeah.
City. Okay.
Yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit about.
Let's do it.
that,
Let's
too.
go.
Because
Let's
I'm
go.
trying to get down and do some shows in Mill City.
Okay.
I love New Hampshire. I love
Yeah.
Gate City, Manchester, but my roots are Mill City. I used to
Okay,
live in
so
Mass
backwards.
Mills.
Okay.
Yeah, right on the bridge. Yeah.
Nice.
but I'm not tapped in right now. I know there's a place called Concept 6 everybody keeps telling me about.
Yeah.
Chitashi, I think, is a chef there.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's a few other spots. But there's some cool stuff happening with Mill City. And I know there's...
Yeah.
I'm friends with people on Instagram. I don't know the names offhand, but they have a comic book series.
Really?
They like illustrate comic books and stuff.
Huh.
There's a lot happening. But,
Okay.
Do you do shows in Lowell area?
So I've done the Worthen upstairs.
Oh, that's a cool spot.
Which is not
That
a bad
is a cool
spot
spot.
at all.
Yeah.
Once you put the stage in the right spot, because you know the Worthen. If you go up the stairs.
Yeah.
We've had people, like the first show that I ever did, and it wasn't to any fault of theirs, it was their first show doing it there. They had the stage to the right, or they had the DJ to the right.
Yeah,
as
when you
soon
go
as
up
you
the
walked up the
stairs.
stairs. They had it right to the right, but the issue was that if you're performing, you're right in front of the door.
Okay, yeah.
And the door swings out into where you are. So like my fear was me performing, and I like to jump around and just get into it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm afraid I'm gonna start jumping around. Someone's gonna crack open the door, and I'm gonna get cracked in the head. And I was worried about the other artists that were performing too.
So what's the ideal spot? Because it's funny, my friends did a show there, and that's what they said. They said the layout's weird, the stage, but what do you recommend?
So put it on the left. So
Okay.
Because it's weird because the stairs are literally dead center of kind of the whole upstairs.
Yeah.
And it's like
that makes sense.
it's like
I can picture that.
a middle square, open in the center. But like if you put it to the left, then it allows, because I know it's like hard to like picture, but when you go up the stairs and then you can loop around this way to the left, and then there's like a long that
Yep.
Yes,
way
and
towards
there's
the
a wall,
bar.
there's
There's
a
like a
wall
bar
there.
There's the bar
There's a
over
wall,
there.
There's a bar, yeah.
So you have that. It's a little bit deeper of a space because they have it set up for the bar. So if you put kind of the DJ kind of on the same wall as the bar, like in between the bathroom and the bar, like you're good.
Yeah, you have that space in front of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you can perform in front of there, and the audience, gets stuck with the door, which I think you'd rather have
It's
the audience,
better.
Yeah.
than the
Right.
performer.
Yeah, it'd be a better
But
setup.
it's a little bit easier because
But it's cozy up there, and
Yeah.
it's always a good vibe up there. I did an R&B show up there. I think that's the only show I did up there. But I was trying to think of something else. But
Who was on that bill?
it was Eva Davenport. It was ladies from Boston.
Okay.
Eva Davenport, Miranda Ray, and Marcella Cruz, and it was just a really good vibe. And Kayla Johnson is the lady that put it on.
Okay.
And I saw it, and I said, "Can I get on, please?"
Yeah, right? Of
Yeah,
course.
and because they were right in the area, and it was these dope women of color coming up doing this show, and I was like, "Can I get on?" And they were so graceful to let me perform with them.
Nice,
They
nice.
didn't know me or what I could do, but I had a good time. But it was the one time I played there. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, as much as I do want those like kind of bigger stages and stuff. I love the intimate settings. Like I love I do love the smaller venues. There's just something about them that you can just get a little bit more intimate. You get to know the crowd a little bit more. You can interact a little bit more with the crowd, even after your set, like you're able to kind of just walk around and kind of just enjoy it, versus, obviously the bigger stages, you get off and then, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So it's great to have those smaller venues and those opportunities like that too. I love those spots. I've done Concept 6. I've done that one twice. So I've done it when it was Concept 6, and then it used to be an art gallery before that. It's still kind of an art gallery. I'm trying to remember the name.
I know the name too. I can't think of it.
And then they
Sounds
stopped
like a cool
it.
Space.
Huh?
That sounds like a cool space.
Yeah. It's really nice. It's almost like this room. If you could picture this room, there is a bar. Have you ever been over there?
I don't
want to
have.
insult your intelligence.
No,
Have you
I
already been
haven't. I
there?
don't think I have been there.
So it's kind of like the size of this room, roughly. You got a bar that's like in the back over here to my left. The stage is actually, so there's like a giant bay window over here, and then the stage is right in front of it. So it's like you can almost like turn around and perform to everybody that's
cool.
outside.
That's cool.
And it raised platforms, so you can stand up above everybody. But then they have like lounge chairs, and then like towards like the middle they have like little tables for people that are drinking at the bar and stuff like that. So again, just like another nice small like kind of intimate place.
I gotta go to a show there to check it out. Get down.
I've heard of this space. I've heard of this space before too. Sounds cool.
I've done I haven't performed there, but I've seen performances there. Thirsty First, which I don't even think they're open anymore.
Oh, really? I think you might be right. I think I saw something on Facebook.
I don't know what happened. There's just all of a sudden, like I wasn't seeing the normal crowd, just kind of standing outside and drinking their beers and stuff. So I don't know what happened. Thirsty First, where else? What's the? It used to be Hook Slides. I'm aging myself now.
That's how I know it too.
What the heck? And that's my spot too, because Trend. Yeah, Trend. Shout out to Trend.
I haven't been there either, but that looks cool.
Yeah,
Cool spot.
it's a good space. Not as much of a raised stage, but definitely a good space. Like Life and I did our 41st Ave album release party there. I mean, the stage is huge. It's a good space, so you can like move around and stuff. It doesn't, you're not like cramped or anything. And then there's like booths and stuff. So it's almost, Hook Slides. It's kind of similar. Mm-hmm. They have the booths on that side. The stage is in the back. And then the bar would be like right where we are here. So it's still kind of in the same place.
Pretty cool layout.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of spots.
Yeah.
In Lowell.
So there is a few. There is another one. I can't mention it right now. I will share it off air.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that. So sorry, everybody, but you'll have to wait for that one. I will share that. I'm trying to keep that on the down low for right now. But I will definitely. Yeah. It's a good one. It was a good find that I came across. I honestly don't even remember how I came across it. No, I did remember. But I'll talk about that off air.
You're baking the cake, right?
Yeah. Let's just say me, Life, and MoFlo are invested in something. So
Right.
Nice.
we are.
Nice.
I will get to that.
I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
I like the sound of it. Can you guys hear me okay? Should I be
Yeah.
getting close up on the mic? Or?
I can hear
No,
you.
you're good.
I'm good?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. You're good. Yeah. But yeah, so I think there's definitely some good like intimate spots in Lowell. I've tried to get on Folk Festival. It's very hard. They also don't accept hip hop, but which I found out this year.
There's a
That
town.
makes
what
no
about-
sense.
there's-
Because
I know.
Lowell
I
is like
was
huge for
so-
hip hop.
Town and City Festival.
I've tried for that one too. So that one, so Town and City Festival, which I have everybody's email to get in there. I reached out. They were like, "Oh, like we're kind of full, but like if we open up some spots, like we'll let you know." Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I'm like, "All right, cool." Time goes by, then they cancel it because of COVID, or they reschedule it because of COVID.
Yeah.
They push it back, and then time goes by. I don't hear anything, and then they start putting up flyers again. Hey, we're gonna do it again, and then so I reach out. I'm like, "Hey, like, do you guys, what's going on?" Don't hear anything back, and then they're like adding people.
Yeah.
That's
And I'm like,
frustrating.
Yeah.
okay, and it's frustrating, especially being from Lowell, which obviously you are too. It's like frustrating when you're trying to perform literally in your city,
Yeah.
and it's like you're not getting anything. Like you want to rep for your city,
You're
like
not
you
even
want to.
acknowledged. Like,
Yeah.
hit me up and tell me what's going. Like,
Yeah.
this is why this
Yeah.
isn't a fit, or like say something. right?
Yeah, and the same thing with the folk festival. So I reached out to them. I sent
But
them.
here's what we did, and we can do this. If you want to talk, we can do this.
Yeah.
Here's what we did, because we could never get into the folk festival. Same thing. So we said, all right, well, we're gonna throw our own show.
Yes,
during
I was just
Folk
gonna
Fest
say
weekend.
you're gonna
And
do
there's
your
a million
own.
people that loved
Yeah.
it. It was packed. Like
Yeah.
we rented above the old court.
Yeah,
This
I
is what
remember
we
this.
used to do.
Oh
Yes, yep.
yeah,
And
I
that's
love it. I
that's
used to
a
love
Yes.
it.
Spot up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have
Yep.
a great bar upstairs.
I remember this.
I don't know if there is open to rent it out, and the whole
Anymore, you mean?
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and the restaurant business is still service business is still in a weird space because of all the COVID stuff and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But there's spots that you can get, like if you plan it ahead of time, and you can just say, hey, I know this is Folk Fest weekend, but we're gonna do a show over here, and even if it's not on the Folk Fest flyer,
right? People are just around,
there's
just
a
looking
million
for
people down
stuff.
there, right?
Yeah.
Plus your
Looking
friends,
for
even
stuff.
your friends and family, like they're usually down that way, or
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one way to do it.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, because I reached out. I didn't hear anything. I still haven't even heard a word, obviously. So my landlord at the time, he's like one of those old dudes that just knows everybody in like city councils and all that other stuff. So he's like, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to figure out like what's going on and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, appreciate it.
Yeah.
So he goes, and I guess like he like talked to the guy, and he was just like, yeah, we just don't do hip hop. Like we just not gonna respond.
They could have said that to you though,
Right?
Like this is not a genre that we're interested in.
But
I mean,
How are you trying to be
they're gonna
multicultural? You got like
sound-
polka
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all these other bands, and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that's why I put together a project called The Lighter Side, which is like more of like an acoustic stuff, because I was like, I have to try to open myself up somehow, because like these places aren't really accepting hip hop. At least the ones that I found.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
maybe I'm
And
looking in the
and
wrong
you're
places.
so positive too. So
Right.
the
Yeah.
representation of it's the good representation
Yeah.
of the genre.
if
you
they
think they'd
if
be
they
open
saw
to
it,
it?
they might be open to it. But isn't that funny? There's still a stigma. I talk
It's-
about that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I've gotten to the point when I submit these things, I'm like, here's the music that I would play.
Yeah.
And like I sent them like The Lighter Side and stuff, like more family friendly and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Not that my music isn't, but
Yeah.
a little bit more family friendly,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
Right.
yeah.
And I'm just like, this is what I would play. Is this cool? And just like nothing.
I have
And
a
it's-
show coming up at the Mill Yard, January 15th,
Mm.
and that's a brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you could bring in a PA system, but I found that, like, when you're doing the pub shows and, like, the Main Street type shows,
Yeah.
because I play drums and percussion and all that
Cajon,
too.
yeah.
So I'm paying attention to all that, whether I'm with this band or that band and how people respond. And people, when they go out for a beer or something, or a brewery or out to eat, they want to hear live entertainment.
Yeah.
If you show up with like a PA system, which I love to rock like that, but it's kind of more of a sit down, or stand up and watch the band. Like you're
Right.
not just chilling. If it's like a pub show and you got like a couple hours and you're getting paid for a couple hour set, I'll bring like a musician, like a keyboard or
Yeah.
a guitar player. Like I have a guitar player that I'm working with, Adam Payne, on
Nice.
the 15th, and he's dope because he's got a looper.
Oh, okay.
And he
Yeah,
knows hip hop and
Yeah.
he freestyles. So
Yeah,
we're gonna,
Okay.
we're
he's
gonna-
making beats with his guitar.
Yeah,
he's
I
doing
love
it,
when people
and
do
then he's
that.
like,
That's so
yeah,
sick.
He's playing. Yeah,
and it's gonna be a
dope.
black. We'll trade bars and like all that stuff. But
That's
I think
dope.
the audience is gonna be. I know they're gonna be more open to that than if I just showed up with like the glorified karaoke. Like,
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like in their minds, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You could put a dope show together with a PA system. You can rock your set. But yeah, we've learned that we recruit some musicians
Yeah,
for
for
our
sure.
And I mean,
performances
drill
lately.
down and think about it. If you're out having a beer and someone is rocking on a mic, and you're gonna feel like you need to stop everything you're doing and watch it. But if there's people like on a guitar sitting down, kind of, you can be like,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah, you feel like the entertainment's there for
right?
you,
And then
yeah.
you can watch them a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of a different type of vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just adds to it. It adds to the
Yes.
performance. Like every time I see like Joe Grizzly, I don't know if you know Joe Grizzly.
Yep.
Like they have a drummer that always goes with them, and I'm like, this is already sick. Like
Right,
just having a drummer alone is like super dope because it just adds flavor to the set and everything. But to add a guitar, stuff like that. Like Moflo did it. He did a festival. I forget where. I think up in New Hampshire. And he had Justin Paul, who's a guitarist, like just play like strumming along with
That's
some
right,
of his
in the
stuff.
over the summer.
Yeah, and he was like, this was like one of the dopest things that I've ever done because he would like freestyle on the guitar and like he was rocking to the beats and everything, and it just added so much more to
I
it.
love that.
Yeah, that's so dope. It's so dope. I think MCs too can't be afraid to work with live musicians.
Oh no,
Like
please
they
don't.
maybe could get intimidated, you know what I mean? Or think like, oh, this might not work because it's hip hop. No, open your mind
Yeah.
and
Oh my
work with
gosh.
musicians. And
Preach.
and you will find that you're as much of a musician as they are.
Yeah.
As a hip hop artist. You know, you know when something doesn't sound right. You know your bars and your numbers, and you know when things should come in. Like you're just as good as a musician as someone picking up an instrument.
Right.
I always say like what we do, and I mean we like
yeah.
There's a lot of talent right here in this area, and I consider
There is,
like
yeah.
us, like you. We're like the jazz of hip hop, because we're not just coming out and doing like, no disrespect, like, but just a generic like trendy type of hip hop, which some of it I like, you know, if you just bob your head, you got that club beat or whatever.
Right.
But that's not what we do.
Yeah.
We kind of have a little bit more. There's a artistic merit from the forefathers of hip hop, and we studied, and like you look at, like if you go to a J Faith show, there's a lot of thought put into your performance.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And likewise with us, like even the content and the hooks and the writing and the crowd response, it's more jazz. Not that it sounds like jazz, but just like there's an element of improv and
being organic,
complexity and organic, you know, material to it.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel, and that's why I think that's a good point when you work with live musicians, and it just even brings that out even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of a J Faith show, we're going to be going to a J Faith festival soon. I say you put one on.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this is the Okay.
I'm recruiting
Okay.
the J Faith
The
festival.
J Faith Festival. I like that.
That sounds good to me. All right.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to get that in the works for
I like
sure.
it.
And again, I think that's something that we could possibly talk off air. We'll share more details.
Oh, okay. It sounds
That
like
we can do.
Like
He might. Sounds like
yes,
he might.
I know. Yeah.
I'll definitely share that with you. But yeah, live, like that's my goal. I would love, you know, I would love for this to be like my 9 to 5, like making music, obviously doing the podcast too, and get that live band in there.
Yeah.
Like drummer, guitar, like I love probably my second favorite instrument. Well, I have top 3: drums, violin, and electric guitar. Top 3.
That's different. Yeah, I wouldn't
Top 3
expect that.
I love the violin in a song. I don't know what it is, but it just sets the vibe for me and my super depressing kind of rapping kind of stuff. And just having that violin in there, or that just like hard gritty violin, that I eat that up.
There's a cat that plays violin and raps. I forget his name, but he's really good.
Yeah.
It's like electric violin. But
It's
I'm sorry.
online.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, having that electric guitar, like I've had electric guitars in some of my songs. Like
I
at the
love
end, I've had
electric guitar.
Sway Casey. I don't know if you remember Sway Casey.
Yep.
I know he's still making music. I say that like he's not doing music anymore. But like he did I gave him like at the end of one of my songs, and I said, dude, just like rip it. Like just go off, and he just went off for like probably like a minute and a half of just guitar solo, and I was like, yes, this is everything I wanted. I'm so excited. I was like,
Bring
I didn't,
it back.
yeah, I didn't rap over it. I rapped like the last like 10 seconds just to like close out the song, but I just let him rock. I'm like, dude, I just want to hear guitar, like just go.
Nice.
Oh, I love that.
And we actually got to perform it one time at the Shaskeen, where he had the guitar. I think it was a dual show too. Like he, you know how they always have like 2 people going.
Yep.
So it was me and him. So he went first, and then I did my set, and he just kept the guitar up there, and then we just ripped it.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love to hear
And
that.
it was awesome. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
That's great. I love to hear that. I wish I was at that show. I want to see
Yeah.
electric guitar and rapping.
Just the camaraderie and bouncing ideas off each other. Like when we play with the live band, we always crack up because like we'll have our song when we do our set, you know, and you know, because you do like 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and then 3 minutes, and then the next song. But with the live band, they'll jam for like 5
Yeah.
minutes or just on a break.
Yeah.
And you can
know.
write out a song.
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the aspect that I like too, that I want. That's where my brain starts to go, because like I see live performances with like the live bands, and it allows you, like, if you're like, hey, I see the crowd is like really getting into it or something, like you can have like the drummer just going for
That's
like
right.
10 minutes, and you're just like, hey, and like you're just going, like you don't have to worry about like switching the beat or bringing the beat back, you know, from the DJ, or like setting it up that way. Like you can just like literally freestyle it if you wanted to, and that's like what I love, the freedom.
Yeah, I love that
you know,
freedom.
with a live
And if
band,
you
which
get
I
a
want to
good-
get.
If you get a good band, like we work with Zeke Martin.
Yeah.
And his dad like played with all the jazz greats, like, you know, and he's really good. So, and he's fun to hang out with, and he's a great bandmate. So
Yeah.
like he's down, and he knows hip hop too.
Right.
Right. He knows all the R&B and hip hop. I love being able to have the live band, and so you can go into another song, and you can just do it
Yes.
like a medley. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
have some ideas that we're working on with that with a band right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a show at Slade's in Roxbury.
Yes, my stomping grounds. That's where
Okay.
I'm originally from.
Okay.
Is Boston. So I cannot wait to go back and like represent in my hometown.
That's dope.
And yeah, we recruited Zeke Martin and his band,
Okay.
and I would love. We're working on doing some '90s R&B songs, but
Dope.
like doing medleys into the samples that they came from.
Sure.
Yeah, so
And then
that's
I'll
what I'm
flip,
working
like,
on.
original rhymes
Yeah.
or freestyles.
Yeah. Dude,
So that's going to be March 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, at Slade's in
I'll plan
Boston,
that.
Roxbury. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love when people start getting creative like that. Not that it's a bad thing, but like just taking a beat and like just throwing it. Just like the original. Like I like people that try to mix it up a little bit
Yeah.
and try to like
Keep it fresh.
keep it fresh,
Innovative.
keep the original song separate, and then making the live show its own thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's what I try to do. Obviously, like you guys try to do. Like even with just the beats that I get, like I'll either extend a certain part. I mean, I try to manipulate it with what I can, but I'll extend certain pieces, or I'll put two songs together just so that they mesh. Like when we did at the Rage Cage, like I had like Check It Out and Car Wash and On My Own, like all in one thing, because I wanted to like kind of mesh it and blend
Yeah,
it.
you guys
and
killed that
do
show.
something different.
The energy was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I first
It's
saw
important to make a sound to create a sound, like
Mm-hmm.
to your point. I like that idea. Yeah. Putting together your playlist, putting together your songs you're performing with the live band, making it all like cohesive.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much better. That's my goal. I definitely want to get there, and you guys are already kind of tackling that
We're
piece
still,
too.
well, we're not there yet. We're still.
Well, you're tackling it.
We
yeah.
always feel like we have work to do.
Oh, for sure.
Always.
But that's good though. That's
Yeah.
a good thing. If
Yeah.
if you feel like you're like, all right, I'm all set.
Never.
Yeah.
And it's fun. You got to
Yeah.
enjoy the process. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And that's
And
it
we
right
do.
there. Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yep.
But 2022 was a great year. It's my best year
Yeah.
as a musician. You know.
Yeah, you've accomplished a lot. You should go down the line. He won't do it, but I will say.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Come on, let's put him on. Let's go.
Well, you released, was it the beginning of this year or November of last year, you released your first single?
Beast over beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
But it like kicked into the new year, into
Right.
this year.
And then
In the beginning.
That's when we did Best of New Hampshire.
Yeah, yeah.
And then which
Best
was
of
cool.
New Hampshire. And then you have, and then you had Back in the Days that you
Ain't no,
released.
Ain't No Love was.
Oh, Ain't No
before
Love
that,
was first.
with you.
Yeah.
Featuring Ruby Shabazz.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Beast Over Beats was with, and I was just coming out, so I wanted to work with different people. So I recruited Professor Lyrical, Detention, who's from Lowell, A Lunar Landing from Maine,
Yep.
Cody Pope
Right.
from Gate City,
Yep.
and DJ Myth,
Of course.
and who am I forgetting?
I remember that because you had brought it up at
Jay.
the
Jay
cage.
Cruz, right.
At the cage, I remember.
Yeah.
It was like I think it was just before it was coming out. I think I think the
think
show
you're
was right
right.
before Thanksgiving.
That's right. Yeah, it came out November 30th.
Yeah, it was like just.
that's right.
after.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah, which was my birthday. So I dropped it on my birthday.
Oh, okay. So
And then
that
I
makes
dropped
sense.
another song this year on my birthday, which was with DJ Myth, Go.
Yeah.
But Beast
Yeah, yeah.
Over Beats, I wanted to kind of unite the
community up here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
community. And if I had known about you guys too.
Nah, it's
but I
okay.
didn't meet you guys till later because
Yeah.
we had the Rage Cage show.
Right.
And then we did the Fisher Cat show.
Yep,
And then I was always like speaking of Mo Flow, Michael Murphy the third.
Michael
And I was
Murphy
like,
the third. Yep.
Yeah, I was like,
Switching it.
we gotta get together and collab.
Don't sing over your lyrics, though. Don't let him
Oh,
catch you
oh
singing
yeah,
over
he'll,
your
yeah.
lyrics. Don't
he'll
do
get
He
that.
will let you know for sure.
He'll get mad. You know what? To kind of go off on a tangent. You know what's funny
Let's
about
go.
the don't sing over your lyrics thing?
Yeah.
I find that funny because everyone makes a big deal out of it, but you're in the same circle I'm in.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that are really rhyming over. I don't know. Maybe you see it, but I don't see
I
a lot of
hope not.
people that are really
I
rhyming.
went to a show recently. I was performing at. I won't say where. I won't say who. That's just them. There were fif- 15 acts, and two of us didn't rap over vocals.
Wow. Okay, so it is a real thing then.
12 or 15 artists. I think it was 12.
That's
I think
amazing.
12. But only two of us didn't rap over vocals.
Did they? So they rapped over there. See, that could get
Yeah.
messy because you're not gonna rap it
The same way.
Your tone, your cadence, like even when you're taking breaths and stuff like that, it's gonna be. I could feel like that could get really messy.
Yeah. Well, the hard part too was the music was way louder than I even realized, and I'm just super deaf. But the music was way louder, so if you didn't rap loud enough, like you just heard song.
So you might as well just go in and play your song on it and chill
Yeah.
back and.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
they'll learn. Maybe they're like just starting out or young, and maybe they'll learn.
Yeah.
You know.
Everybody's got their own opinion
Yeah.
about it.
People have their own way of like figuring out how to perform live. You know. So.
I think we at this table really put a lot of work into performing live. Like your set is, you can clearly tell everything.
Oh,
even-
rehearse.
Yeah, and same thing with us.
I want to try to sound as close to my recording as possible because I'm like, okay, I hit that note when I was in the studio. You know what I
Right.
mean? I better hit that.
I
I better hit that note when I'm live.
Right.
Or learning how to breathe and
That's
just sounding like I do on record. You know, and I'll practice it and I'll
it's,
go over it.
it's funny when you
Yeah.
practice your breath control. You're fine, and then you get, I don't know if it's the excitement.
On stage, you
you're
get dry mouth,
Right.
you can't
Right,
breathe.
right.
You're like, what?
Yes,
I
all
was
of that,
doing
all of that.
backflips rehearsing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now, like, I take a step and I'm already exhausted. Like,
That
what
has
the
happened to
hell?
me a couple times, but it's all been shows that I've been super excited to perform
Yeah.
at. Like there have been shows that I've done a lot over the years. Like every year I'll do like the same festival or whatever, and so I'm comfortable. But there was a couple of new things I did this year that I was super excited about, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I performed well. You know,
Which
but,
is funny because those are like the shows that you really want to do well.
Yeah,
at, right?
yeah.
But
So,
that's why your
you know,
heart's probably beating. You're all
yeah,
like,
oh yeah,
1,000
your
times
adrenaline's
higher.
going.
Yeah.
So even someone like me that's done it for a long time, I'm getting excited now talking about it. I'm like, anyone that's like me that's done it for a long time, you're still gonna go through things. It's not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna have new moments where you got to learn. Okay, now this is the thing to tackle. Now when I'm excited about a show, how to keep my breath under control and my
Yeah.
adrenaline in check, and
Yep.
I'm not straining my voice. You know.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me because I was like trying to scream into the microphone, and I was like, dude, don't be an idiot. Do a mic check. Get your vocals up higher so you don't have to scream
Right.
and lose your voice.
Right.
And like that was one of the biggest things that I learned was to really pick, because I was seeing like other artists do it too, like some of like the higher tier kind of artists and stuff, people that have been around for a while too. And I was like, dude, why are they being so extra? And then like it finally clicked, and I was like, this is just as important as
Absolutely,
everything
yeah.
else. Like,
We saw somebody
take that
do that.
time.
I think we talked about this.
We
on
saw
the way
somebody
over.
do that. We won't say like what show it was at, but we saw somebody do that, and we thought, oh, they're being a diva, they're being extra. And
Yeah.
then when they got up on stage,
oh, now I remember the show.
and
Yeah.
then when they got up on stage and they sounded right, and we didn't sound as good, we were like, oh, that's why they were doing all that. You
And
know?
that helps your tone
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Not only like
Yeah.
your breath control and you're not screaming, but if you get the levels right and you're conscious of that, your tone is better, so you sound better as an MC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I'm
remember.
super conscious of that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
For sure.
You're really good at staying calm on the mic. He gets really like clear and bassy, and it sounds good. He's really good at
But
that.
that's conscious too.
Yeah.
That's practice.
Yeah.
That's not. I didn't just.
It's like
wake up.
muscle memory at that point,
Right.
you know,
I-
getting
because
to that point.
I was whacked so many times and got frustrated that I was
Yeah.
like, I need to really zone in on this. Yeah.
It's important. Yeah, the dude had, I don't know the name of the instrument. I'm very ill-informed. It was like, it looks like a guitar, but it has the piano. And he literally spent
sitar? No, is that a sitar?
I think it's a sitar.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. And he spent like the first, I think like he had a longer set, and he spent like the first like 15 minutes just doing like sound check, and like just testing the mic, testing the thing, like doing everything, and I was like, dude, this guy is like so extra. But then I was like,
When he hit it, you were like, oh, okay.
I was like, this
okay.
sounds so dope.
Yeah,
Everything is
so
clear,
good.
everything's balanced. I was like, now I get it. Okay, that makes so much sense. Now I need to incorporate that into my performance. But even when I first started performing, I researched it. I was like, what do you put for show vocals? And it was like, most people standard cut out the verses and then usually leave the hooks. And I was like, all right, bet. And then just went right with that.
That is so
And that's
awesome
how I
that you
started.
looked that up, because it was like, I think for me, I know for me it was Trial by
Trial and
Fire.
error. Yeah.
It was like, I'm like, especially when I was first started performing, I'm like, oh, that didn't sound good. How do I do this?
For her, we'll leave the background because obviously she can't do. In the studio, she does a lot of her own backgrounds.
Right.
But she can't
There's
do
certain
that.
things I'll leave in there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's certain things that you think you should leave in, or like, then you go to perform with it and you're like, oh no, that shouldn't be there. So
Right.
now I started
It's trial
to
and error,
practice
yeah.
it at home and do it. But before it used to be Trial by Fire.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And you have to practice. Like we did the New England Music Awards, and we didn't want to leave anything to chance or like be nervous, or
Right.
like even like breath control. Because there's times when, as an MC, like you have a lot of bars. It's like it's a lot, So I was like, hey, sing this right here. If I get tired or something, or you look over and I'm struggling,
we would,
and you had to bail me out a couple times.
We
but
had each other's back.
no one knew it
Yeah.
because because we practiced it.
Yeah.
It sounded good.
Yeah.
But if we didn't, and I had to go through that, there just would have been empty space there because I was like,
And you know
I
what's
hate those
funny about
moments,
that
too.
is that we practiced for a couple weeks before that, like 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot maybe, but like we're getting better in a routine to like be prepared for shows and
Right.
stuff. So we had got it down. When we got there, we had most of it down, but the adrenaline again, because it was like
Yeah.
the first show. It was
not only that, I was like jumping off
sure.
the stage and running through the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And
We
I had to
did
jump
it
back.
Situations that you
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
expect. You're like,
Yeah.
I have to take this opportunity.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah.
And then you're like,
you don't account for that.
And I'm
Hold on.
glad I did because the crowd,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
it was love in the crowd.
Yeah.
But then I had to be like, oh man,
And it
I
was
gotta
good
run back
footage.
up on stage.
right, for sure.
But yeah, and then I had your back when you came back because you were a little out of breath. But we kept it under control, and maybe everyone didn't know at the time, but we knew what was going. We were looking at each other like, oh my god.
And that show was great because that was the award show.
Right.
And we went into it. It's country, blues, rock,
Everything, yeah.
And I'm like, man, hip hop. I'm like, man, are people gonna scatter? Because there's always that possibility,
Right.
Well, and everyone had a band, and
Yeah.
like
and then there's us.
6-piece,
And
like
DJ Myth.
2
We had DJ
guitars.
Myth.
Oh, okay, word.
Which was great. But I said this could go. I was like getting nervous. Like I wasn't nervous beforehand.
Yeah,
but
just
then
what
also
people are gonna.
I thought
How
there would
they
be like
gonna
150,
respond.
200 people. There was
That's always
probably-
my thing too.
It was like 800 people.
It
And the
was a
place
big,
was huge.
it was
Yeah.
a big
That's dope,
group.
though.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh man, I'm worried people are gonna start leaving the front. But it was the opposite. They came up
Dope.
and
Yeah.
so
Just
yeah.
embraced it.
We definitely brought the energy because we were excited.
Yeah.
And we had to practice, and we practiced everything, the breathing and steps, going across the stage. We did do that.
and Jay,
but the adrenaline was still there. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
of course.
even the
100%.
crowd, like that's one thing. When I even up until like I was older, I didn't realize. I just thought that the crowd participation and response was just all
Automatic.
freestyle, automatic. And then I'm like, nah, man. You gotta kind of work, even if it's not planned. You gotta have some go-to stuff.
You got to
I feel
command
like.
it. You got to command it.
Yeah, so I started working on that, the crowd work, and things got better.
important,
Because
yeah.
even at Rage Cage, I was like, because I hadn't rocked for a long time. That was when I first started coming back out again.
Coming back out, okay.
And at Rage Cage, I was like, oh man, I don't feel like left that show, and I was like, man. I asked her. I drove away after seeing you, and I forget who else was it. Cody played that night, or
A Lunar Landing was there.
Yeah, a Lunar.
Cody. I don't think Cody performed that
was
night.
Conflict. It was
Conflict was there.
So I left, and I'm like, man, these cats are nice.
You're like,
Ask
they are
her.
no
I was like,
joke.
I gotta step up my game.
Yeah,
yo.
yeah.
So I was like, I gotta practice, and then I even asked some people, I'm like, how much do you practice? And they're like, I practice a lot, and I was like, oh, I'm not like putting in the work.
Yeah.
So then but I mean, obviously, looking back, it's
Right,
a
right,
no-brainer.
right.
But
Yeah.
you know.
But it's just stuff you learn. Like I I research too. Like I'll look at artists, like even like higher level artists. Like I'll look at how Eminem performs. I'll look at how NF performs. Like artists that are not like me, but like, you know, rap kind of similar styles, if you will. You know, and I'm like, okay, like how do they kind of set everything up? Like how do they, how do they prepare? You know, what does their set look like? You know, especially if they're doing, you know, if Eminem's doing Rap God, like how do you do that live?
Right.
But it's like understanding, like, you know, you either have like certain backing vocals, you know, maybe in there to catch you, or your hype man is helping you out, you know, and that's kind of why I got Mo Flow to, you know, not only to add to the show, because he definitely does, but to catch me in those moments where I'm like, dude, help me. And like, you know,
the chemistry was good. Like you could tell you guys practiced, you know, even like the physical, you know what I mean?
Movements and
practice.
stuff.
You're talking about practice?
Practice.
I'll say it here. I think I've said it before, but we don't practice.
Oh man. So that's the
which is crazy. Like we study each other's songs. Like we'll practice like
that's
the
funny
songs.
that you can pull that off. So imagine if you did practice.
I know we keep telling ourselves
you don't
that.
practice together. You don't get to practice together.
No.
I mean that happens.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you do have to practice your part and this person practice their part and you come together. I'll say one thing I learned about that. Another thing about like being professional is that I only learned in the last couple years what it means to practice before you come to rehearsal. Like I used to just go to like a rehearsal with musicians. And feel and just think, oh, we're gonna get it now.
No,
you know what I mean?
You're gonna spend the first hour and a half figuring it out.
And I did. I'm getting so excited. Sorry. I'm getting so excited talking about music.
I love it.
But I'm like, oh, I need to practice. Duh, and it sounds so obvious. I need to practice and know my parts back and forth, in and out, and then go to them and rehearse.
Right.
And I just learned that in the past couple of years. And I've been doing that.
That's pretty good chemistry between you and Mo Flow. If you guys should like, if you set your mind to it, I think.
Yeah, the only challenge was because he's up in Rochester, so it's like a 2-hour drive.
Oh,
like,
that is tough.
Get down here, so it's like
I'm thinking he's like local.
Oh no, he's up in like Rochester, but you know, and we had that conversation when, you know, he first signed on to be my hype man. I was like, I know you're like super far and everything else. I was like, is this down? He's like, dude, I know what I'm signing up for. Like, this is it. Let's rock.
Keep listening to the tracks.
Yeah, I send him I'll send him the lyrics. He'll listen to the tracks, and like, shout out to him. Like he like nails every song. Like he gets them like down, and I'm like, dude, like I don't know how you do it, but you get like every song down, you know. And it's
I feel like he's underrated on the scene, you know. And I might get in trouble for saying this, but.
Bring it on.
BG Byron did some tracks for him, and he kind of would play me some snippets, and it's dope.
His
like,
new stuff now,
like the flow is crazy. Like he switches it up a lot, and
like I like Playing Cards. Like Playing Cards, which is I believe it's his latest song that he's released,
and that's with Life.
And that's with Life too. Shout out to Life, and. Like just the change that I saw from that song compared to like songs, and not that they're bad songs, like Hove and Competition by Fire, which are super dope lyrical bars, like crushes it. But to see him kind of go into the more conceptual stuff with like Playing Cards, and he's played me a couple other songs, I'm like, dude, that is like your pocket. Like that's where you need to sit. Again, not that, you know, again, like Competition by Fire, Hove, I love those songs. But this is like a new Mo. This is Michael Murphy III versus Mo Flow. And I told him that. I said, this is the new you. This is
I can't wait to link up and link up with you guys. And
for
you
sure,
know, I've been speaking to him for a minute about like collaborating, and he seems open to it. And then
always,
especially since like the Fisher Cat show. The vibe was great. You guys killed that.
100%.
Everybody killed it. It's funny. Mo was like, would you want to go on early or do you want to go on later? And I said early because like I'm thinking, I don't know if people are going to stick around. And that was a mistake because they had the fireworks. Everyone stuck around.
I had no idea either.
Crowd out there.
Yeah. It just goes to show you like don't underestimate hip hop, right? And what it can do no matter what setting you're in.
Maybe we can do that next year too.
I think he's going to try. Because I'm like I say, his dad I think works obviously works for them.
Yeah, that was a
and
fun
stuff.
show. That was a really fun show.
And we were in a good spot because everybody was leaving from,
Yep.
like, you had to walk
People-
past
a
it.
lot
So,
of
like,
people
you
stayed, or at
caught
least-
it.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah.
bar
Stood
was
there.
right there, too. So you
Yeah.
caught all those people that were like, hey, I'm going to grab a drink after the game. Or I'm going to sit here and watch the fireworks, which are literally, like, right there.
They
And I
were
was
right
like,
behind us.
this
That was
is
so dope.
Yeah,
that is
that
my
was so
like
cool.
favorite thing in life is fireworks.
I think life,
like my
when
favorite
life
thing.
was playing. in
Oh, he had the
particular-
fireworks the
Yeah,
whole
so,
time.
like,
I was
you get
like,
the
you
picture with the
lucky
Yeah, so he
fireworks.
had, he had it
Yeah.
right behind him.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, you
Yeah.
lucky bastard. And I think
He
as
said
soon as
he said
finished-
some line. He was like, and he was like pointing over to the
Oh,
fireworks.
yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, well played.
That's a
Yeah.
snippet.
Well played.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
well
a good
played.
setup.
Yeah, he caught that one well. But yeah, it's been trial and error, and just I've done a lot of research as far as I know. We've been on the performance thing for a while, but I think
I
that's,
love performing. That's why.
I think it's so important. I've had the conversation before, but I just love talking about it. I just think performing is so important. It just makes it more intimate as far as connecting with your audience, literally firsthand. You know,
You're gonna
versus
meet,
just
you're gonna meet a lot
versus
more people
just a song.
perform, and then just trying to like
Yeah.
on social media saying,
it's
"Listen
terrible.
to my song."
Yeah.
How successful is that ever?
Yeah.
No,
You know?
it's terrible.
Well, I'm glad we can get back outside and perform like we have been because that's been so important to connect with people. You know.
Facts. Yeah, COVID was tough. Even doing virtual stuff, I was like, this just isn't the same. Like, it's cool to perform, and it was great to kind of get on stage and
Yeah.
and kind of dust off the cobwebs and get the dust off and stuff like that. But not having people there was like, it was frustrating. It was tough.
I think I just worked on how I looked on camera. You know, one thing.
Right.
How I was moving around, and I would look at virtual shows that I'd done and be like, oh, I didn't like the way I did that. Oh, I like this. I'll set it up like this next time. So that's what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you did get to look at yourself more because it's just
Yeah.
you know.
I didn't like it at all. The whole virtual.
I think that's what
gonna
I
lie.
need to do more, though. I think so. I have a weird thing. I don't like to watch myself after I perform. It's a weird thing to me. I like seeing myself perform is like weird to me.
You're like,
But
you're
I
like,
feel like
was
it should
there.
be-
I was
Even
there.
if you do have a good show,
Yeah.
you still, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I feel like I should because again, you get to critique yourself. You get to see.
Trust me, I didn't
What
want
sh-
to, but it was like
Yeah.
all there is to do. So
True. Yeah, I
You
don't.
use the opportunity.
Yeah,
The downtime.
yeah.
Like even when people put clips up from like just on Instagram story and stuff, I'm just like, all right, add share, like, you know, fire emojis, and then like I don't. I'm gonna be honest, like I appreciate the share. Don't get me wrong, I 1,000% appreciate the share, but I don't watch it.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like what? It's like I don't know. It's like,
Maybe you think you'll critique yourself too much,
I think so.
and like
I'm too much of
you're
a
like,
perfectionist.
let me just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Right.
There
Or
was
just-
one video that a long time ago that I'm glad I did watch, and I watch just to see just to hear how I sound, to hear if like the progress that I'm making. I'm like, okay, I'm doing good there. Oh, that was a touch pitchy. Maybe no one else could tell, but I could tell. I want to keep working on that. But there was one video I did, and I was like doing a little dance to my song. And I was like, "What am I doing?" And I thought I thought I was killing it. And I looked at it, and I was like, "What is that?"
Don't do that again.
I was
Mental
like,
note, right?
Yeah.
"Don't do that again." I was like, that looks horrible. I will never do that again."
Oh no. I think the only time that I've watched it was the only time I think I do watch it, which is the very super rare occasion, is like those moments where I feel like I've like lost breath and I'm like, I don't know if like I got it out. So I'm like, I want to know what it sounds like if I am in that
what other
space.
people
Uh-huh.
heard.
Like, did they hear it? Did they hear that I was like about to choke and dying? Or did it actually come out clear and it's like just all in my head?
It's funny. Sometimes you do that. You think something didn't sound good, and then you go back and you're like, well, it's not as bad.
It's actually, yeah, it was actually
You
pretty
might
okay.
catch what you were looking for, but then you go, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But then you
Yeah.
just say, okay, I'm going to improve on that. You know, you
I think
don't want it to get
everything
any
is
worse.
enhanced when you're live, though. 'cause,
Oh, my
like,
God.
everything's moving so fast that you might think. And that's true. Like when you make a little mistake, unless you like get in your own head, no one usually notices.
No,
but if you
they don't.
if you start
Yeah.
getting in your own head, and
You were talking about dry mouth one time, and I did this one festival for the first time. I was all excited, and I was practicing my set. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go into this, and and I got up there. I had my mouth was like,
Like cotton mouth.
Yeah, it's
just,
like dry.
You always have water. You know, it's your friend.
But no amount of water I was drinking was working.
Oh, well, the other thing too is, it's not like we drink a lot, but if you drink alcohol before you perform,
oh, it's terrible.
that's terrible.
Yeah, we can't.
Like you said,
kills
no
your
amount
vocal
of
cords.
water is going to help.
It does.
cords.
We can't do that anymore. We were like trying to relax one time, and I was like, ooh, well, like I sounded fine, but I was out of breath, and I was like, ooh, no,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again.
Have a drink after.
Yeah.
If you're gonna.
Yeah.
You must.
Yeah, back when I used to drink, I did a show at the Shaskeen, and I think my voice was like a little bit sore, but I was like, whatever. So I went and got a whiskey honey, a Jim Beam
Thinking
whiskey
it was
honey,
gonna help.
and I was like, all right, it's honey, like I'll be fine. I got on stage, I rapped like the first like 4 bars, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't know how I'm gonna get through this.
And that's all
Yeah.
you're thinking about now. You're not
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh
Yeah,
god,
I've been there.
I've got like 4 songs to go, and I'm only on
That's
song
the
1,
worst.
and I
That is the worst.
And you're just
feeling.
trying to get through your set.
And I used
like,
to not.
grabbing
I
water.
used to not drink. Especially like when I first started, people would offer me drink or be like, "Oh, have a glass of wine." I'm like, "No, I don't do
I
it at
remember
all."
that. People would be like, "Relax." have
Yeah,
a
and I
glass of wine."
wouldn't do it, and I would perform well. And I'm like, okay, and then I would have a drink. I think as I got older, I was just like, okay, I can relax. You know, I know what I'm doing, and but I still can't. I just can't do it because
Yeah.
like the 1 or 2 times I've done that, it wasn't my best performance. And I'll go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to get back to not doing it. There's a reason why, people do things a certain way. They have a ritual, or maybe they're called a diva or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they do certain things before a
And
performance.
the same thing with physical, being in physical shape.
yes,
too.
yes,
That's huge,
absolutely.
too.
You know,
Yeah.
it matters.
That's what
Yeah,
I've
it
learned
all
too.
matters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
like
need to take care of
your
yourself. Stay
cardio,
hydrated.
whatever you can, because
Yeah.
you got to last. I mean, especially if like you go on tour or stuff like that. Once you reach that level,
Yeah.
and you're going on tour, you're performing every single night. You have to be physically capable
For a lot longer.
to
Think
do
about
that.
like we do. We're not like superstars.
But we perform enough.
But you,
But-
yeah,
but just not back to
But
back
we're
to
not
back.
doing. We're also not doing. Normally, we're not doing like 2 45-minute sets.
Right,
Like it's like
right.
20-minute sets.
Right, right.
So and even then, sometimes I'm like, man, that's a lot.
yeah.
So double.
we
that,
used to.
and
We
then-
used to do that with Ruby and the Groove, and
Yeah, but that. Yeah.
we used to have like 2 and 3 hour sets, and
Oh,
we
wow.
got to we did used to do that.
I didn't like the 3 hours.
No, I don't like the 3 hour
Hour
sets.
sets.
The 3 hour sets.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
that's what we call them. But we stopped doing that. But there was a point we did that a lot,
You're
and
good if it
we'd
stays.
have to like stay in shape.
That
We-
was also with the guitar player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. That's
sorry.
good.
Yeah, you're good. If it stays, I can still hear you. You're good.
Okay. That's probably hearing all the clicking and stuff, but yeah. So, but we made sure that we were on point all the time because we were performing so much. You know.
Yeah, when Life and I did the 41st Ave album release, which was probably like a 45, 50-minute set, which was like my first longest set I had ever done. We got to like the last like 3 songs, and I was like, damn.
Tired.
Are we almost done? Like I felt like just super lethargic and just like, oh man, like so this is what it's like. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, damn, I
That's
gotta,
what you
I
signed
gotta
up
step it
for
up.
by
I gotta step it up
Being an
now.
artist.
But it was a good like wake up call to like kind of go through that and be like, okay, like now
Thanks.
I know what I need to work on.
Yep.
Like I need to practice full sets like that. I need to get my
And I
body ready
noticed
for
you have,
that.
so this year coming up, it looks like you have some projects in the works.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you had a post that said, it was a light year.
Yeah.
But I think you had, I was looking at that and saying,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you had releases, videos, and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. I know that now, in the cycle now, it's like a lot of content that you need to have.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have good quality.
Right.
A
Exactly.
mix, like you
Yeah,
still
yeah,
have
yeah.
to have, but I feel like you put out a substantial amount of work.
Yeah.
And sounds like you're getting ready to put out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good, good.
This was the first year that in a long time that I haven't dropped a project. So the last project that I dropped was 41st Ave and the Lighter Side. They were roughly around the same time. And I did that just because like one was like my own, and then one was a collab project, obviously with Life. and then I went into kind of just studio mode, like literally the entire year, just based on my circumstances and stuff, but just buried myself at the British Sound and Stage and was working with Mertz and just album work, like trying to get this album done because it was something that I had put off for. I mean, the original idea came like 10 years ago, like, which was based off of a lot of family stuff that I had gone through, which led to voicemails, which you guys have seen the video and stuff. Yep. Like, that's what that stems from. So it was like, for me, I consider it light work because like there was no full project. Like, yeah, there were singles and stuff. Like four of them I dropped like within a month. I did one every Friday in August, that kind of thing.
So if you did a project, the next project, are you still going to put like voicemails on the project?
So the next so voicemails is the first single off of my next project.
Cool.
Which sneak peek, I'm aiming for February for a release for that. February.
Okay. Well, it's coming up.
February 16th is actually the date.
Okay.
It's my dad. It would be my dad's birthday. Who's not with us anymore, but that was kind of meeting him was kind of the start of, I don't want to say issues, but just a lot of the hardships that I went through that is on that album that took me from 2010 until maybe the past 2 years to actually like process and get through.
Yeah. It takes a while. I lost my dad recently in the pandemic when it first happened, like 2 years ago. So yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. Sorry to hear that, and I know that it takes time to like get through that. So I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing the whole project.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because I didn't grow up with him, so I met him after 20 years. Like my parents divorced when I was 2, and then I met him just after I got out of college when I was 22. And I met him, not to go on a sad sob story about my life, but just to give you kind of the picture. Met him for a week, first time, 22. 3 months later, passes away.
Wow.
So like, I like just started getting to know him. And then for me, it was, how do I process losing my dad without ever knowing my dad?
Yeah.
Like really knowing my dad,
Yeah.
like spending time, all that
that's
other
hard.
stuff.
That's
like,
tough.
Like I finally get to meet you, and then now you're gone. But like you're my dad. I feel like I should feel more than this.
Yeah.
Like, you're my dad.
Yeah.
But I didn't. And then finally, like years later, I was like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then the processing finally started going through, and then that's when like the real writing started happening.
I love that.
It's your therapy.
I love that.
Then I was finding the beats.
I love that you found a way to cope with the music. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
And that's why like I'm so excited to put this song out. Like, I mean, it's been written for the past like 3 years, like the entire project. It was just going down to like finding beats and stuff. And like the only additional song that I really added was a song called Finish What I Started, because I was afraid, Lord willing, I'm still, and thankful that I'm still here, but tomorrow's not promised. Like if I'm not here, like in the song, I'm just like, everything is like ready for you. Like all you have to do is take it and like just finish what I started. Let the world hear it. So if like I don't finish it, like Mo CG, like my homies, like
that's funny that you
grab
think
it
like
and
that.
finish it.
I feel that way sometimes too.
You're right. You feel that way, right? Like you want to put something out. You want to leave something for when you're not here. I feel that way too.
Now you said you recorded at the Bridge.
Yeah,
that's where we did Ain't No Love.
Oh, that's right.
With Ark.
dope. Oh yeah, dope.
Yeah.
Ark's a cool dude.
Super cool. Steel Gold, all those.
Yeah.
Pope.
Yep.
They have a new album out.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get to listen to it yet, but I want to listen to that too.
And Leeds has a new album too.
Oh, that's right.
Is it a
Worker
compilation?
Among Workers. Yeah, it's got a bunch of MCs.
Bunch of people.
Because he had one out a couple years ago too, like
No,
beginning of the. Oh, this is the one now. Okay, yeah.
And he just put like a deluxe version with even more MCs and stuff on it.
I can't wait to hear your project. That sounds so dope. Like I am on the same path with really getting into my feelings and being more vulnerable in my lyrics.
Tell him the name of the project, what it's going to be named.
I think it's going to be named In My Feelings.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I've
Getting
never.
right to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never gotten this vulnerable as I'm starting to right now. It's always been positive, uplifting songs, but like,
Same.
you know, I keep it pretty light. It's like, love yourself, take care of yourself, like that type of thing. And then I wrote a song for my dad called Light of the Moon. And I wanted to put a positive spin on like this spiritual side of like what happens when you lose someone.
Sure.
And how it makes you feel, and like signs that people get and things like that.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm working on a similar type project. It sounds like you're further ahead. So I would take any advice that you have about your process, like how you're getting through it and how you're putting everything together.
Yeah, I mean, it really took a long time, but it really did take being vulnerable and letting out those feelings. And it did take a couple songs to get to that point too. Like I have a song called Empty Voice, which kind of goes on not the darker side, but kind of the anger and frustration that I had about the whole situation. Like, you guys divorced, like, why didn't you stay over here? Like, why didn't you form a relationship? Why did we only write letters? Like, what would have happened if things were different, if you guys stayed together? But like, at the end of the day, like, I didn't have you, so like, I'm left with my empty voice of like not being, and now you're gone, like, I'm not able to share anything with you, like, empty stuff like that. But then, as I processed that, it went into a song that I wrote called Dad's Flow, which I performed at.
I think I heard that one
at Rage Cage, which is kind of the lighter side, because as I continue to meet and get to know my dad's side of the family, even though I didn't know my dad or grow up with him or anything, they were like, "You have so many mannerisms that are just like your father," and I was like, "That's so cool." So. Hence, Dad's Flow, like, I still have my dad's flow. I still have my dad's swagger.
I like that.
So I wanted to celebrate. I finally, like, got into the celebration of it. And was like, okay, like, let's put a positive spin on it.
I like that. I love to hear that you are, like, finding a way to, like, get through all that, and it's coming out in the music, and it sounds like it's going to be dope.
Yeah,
like,
I'm excited.
That is the thing that I heard when I was younger, that, as a singer and an artist, that the audience the audience needs to connect with you, and I'll be like, I don't know about, I don't know if I,
you don't open yourself up.
I'm like I don't know if I want to tell all that, or how do I get them to connect with me? And now I just found I just have to be myself and say what's really on my mind.
Yeah.
And
well, just like he said that, which may help you. You may say something that could help somebody else deal with it too.
Yeah, absolutely. The first song I started writing for the project is called Anxiety, and I tried it out a couple times at one of Cody's shows, or his shows, period. And every time I sing the song, people are like, "Oh wow, like that really touched me. That really that was really profound. That was really powerful." I'm like, really? So
You'd
if
be
that
surprised.
feels good,
You'd be surprised.
I'm like, okay, I'll keep going this way,
Yeah, a lot of it was just personal growth that I went through, and just being brutally honest about it, and just because I finally took it to the point, like you said, like I can't be the only one that's going through something like this. It may not be exactly to the point, to the T, but if there's a way that I can share what I'm going through, and this is just the same thing like I do with the podcast, if there's something that I'm going through that somebody can kind of tap into and like understand and be like, okay, I'm not the only one either. And like, maybe this is how they got through. Like, maybe it's something that I can try, or, or just knowing that at the end of the day, like, you can get through it.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was like either personal growth or just stuff that I dealt with my family.
And acknowledging that it's hard, like it's not going to be easy to get through at first,
Yeah.
So you're working on a project, right? With are you still doing it with Hellhound, the EP?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I didn't get to ask you. Like we live together, and I didn't even ask it. Like, what are you thinking about writing about exactly? Do you know like what your subject matter is going to be?
We're thinking about talking about life lessons from the locksmith.
Okay.
Like that might be the title, just because I have a lot of, I'm the evolutionist. I have a lot of knowledge from hip hop and just life in general.
Yeah.
So I haven't, like, you guys are talking all the deep stuff. Like, a lot of times when I'm rhyming, it's just like some MC stuff. Like, I'm MCing.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I'm like,
So this is gonna be a little bit more like conceptual and talk about what I specifically want to talk about is the community and like I see a lot of people. I don't know if it's that they don't know how to support or they want support without giving support.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of address that. Like if you want support, like for instance, I'll get super detailed.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see people, like I support, I'll go out to shows, I'll repost, I'll buy people's stuff. Like, and it's authentic because I love it anyway. And there's in all honesty, there's a lot of great MCs. I think we're kind of in a renaissance for this area right now. It's special. It's a special time.
Yeah.
But I'll see people complain like, nobody supports me. They'll say this online, and I'm like, you've never like come to one of my shows, one of anybody's shows. I've never seen you out. You don't like any of my posts or any of my friends' posts. I've never seen you say something positive ever. And then you're complaining about nobody supports you. Well, you gotta show love to get love.
Right.
And I don't mean like like super general. Like I'm saying.
Be active, physically there.
Right, Make it authentic, make it organic,
like
like common sense stuff. Like I can't just say, hey, I'm not getting any love, and I clearly am not showing anyone any love. Like, but it's funny, like why would I? That's not my person. I don't understand how someone could even go down that road, but they do, and I'm like,
they do, for sure.
Like I get frustrated because I'm like, it's obvious,
right? It's right there in front of you,
right.
If you want it, like you got to go get it too. You got to show that support. You think you're the only one that wants support?
That's
like
right,
we out here trying to do the same thing. Like,
that's right.
But we're doing it differently. Like this is how you do it.
And that's why you see me. I try to be a magnet and a bridge maker. And like as long as you're dope, like I'm not trying to build with people that if they need work or they're in a different place artistically, I can support them in different ways.
Right.
But I'm trying to like right now. I'm looking. My eyes are wide because I'm like I'm here doing this. Look what you got going on.
Yeah.
Like there's cats up at Gate City, Mill City. There's so much talent right now, and I see it from a higher level. So I'm like, I want to build with these cats. These cats, like we can really be a movement right now. I think we're in a special time, and I don't want to miss it. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm here tonight. I'm gonna be. You're gonna see me at shows. We'll work together.
For sure.
It's gonna continue. I'm just excited for the future of hip hop and music in this area right now. I'm super, super energized.
The future of the funk.
The future of the funk.
There you go. It's definitely. I hate to say it, but I think like 2023 is just definitely going to be that year of, I think even further growth for like just the local community and everything too. Like New England hip hop, like really coming even more together. Like I definitely saw that coming out of the pandemic. Like just a lot of people trying to support somehow, some way. Some ways may not always be the best way, but at least like I see like the idea, I see the potential.
And you're active.
What you're trying
like
to,
you're actually actively pitching in. You have us here tonight. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate having you guys. I appreciate
and likewise,
you coming in.
we want to support you in any way that we can. And there's a lot of dope MCs, not only dope MCs, but good people too.
Yeah. That's what counts too. Just those genuine people that are out there with the good heart, trying to, move the culture, put it in a better position, and supporting the way that they should. It's always important.
It's exciting.
Yeah. It's funny how, or ironic, I should say, how after the pandemic, I don't know about anybody else, but I know for us, and I feel like this would be a lot of people, like your circle is smaller, right? So sure. You're focused on like just certain friends and family. A lot of political and social unrest happened too. So you just really building a circle of trust, and definitely. It's a small community. So like, I think that's happened with live music too. You're focused on just this community of musicians and local musicians. So you're going to have that better support. You're going to have, for the people that are down to do that, and the people that do know that.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And you also don't know what you got till it's gone. So during that time when you weren't able to get out and rock shows or see shows, then it was like, oh man, when it starts coming back. and then you're like, I don't want to. I don't want to be on the outside. I want to be like participating and be active, whether it's seeing a show or supporting or being in a show. And yeah, it's magic right now. And magic. Think of the word magician. It's close to musician.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I always say that music is the closest thing to magic.
Oh, for sure.
I
can spin.
Rainbows too.
So many things.
Like you guys are talking about the emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
for
Like
sure.
it's you
100%.
can't. It's the main thing that brings everybody together. It invokes emotion. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we fell in love with music in the first place.
Yeah, when you were
I know
younger,
that for
you-
me, like
Yeah, me too. When
whether
you were
I was
younger,
sad, I'm throwing on some R&B. When I'm, hitting the gym, we got rock on. If I'm trying to cruise around, you got hip hop.
Right,
If you're in love, you throw on, some more R&B.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the other side of R&B.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like you're just hitting everything. When you're sad, you just put those sad songs on and you get through it. But like, those are the things that spark that emotion, and it's I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I love it. It's an
me
amazing
too.
thing. It's a
Me
beautiful
too.
thing.
I'm addicted.
Yeah.
That's I don't have many.
We're here now.
I don't
Yeah.
really have any addictions besides music, but that's a big one.
At least it's a healthy one.
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
Could be. Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's true. Yeah.
You can obsess over the music
Very true.
too.
Very true.
It's all about being productive. That's the main thing you get out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
When you
I have
are
a lot-
going through something
in
or
my
whatever.
relationships, like I met you through music.
Yeah.
I met you through music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
the
met a lot of my
best
friends
part.
Through music.
Yeah.
That's
So
the best part too.
I always say, even if I don't make $1 million, I still have $1 million worth of friendships
Yeah,
and relationships.
met some dope people along the way. Like that's what I would take from
Amen.
it too.
Yeah.
And just we say it all the time on here, but just the experiences that we've had, like the shows that we've gone to rock, the people that we've gone to meet, the places we've opportunities that we've gotten to have, stuff like that. Like doing the Fisher Cats. I never would have thought I would be performing
Rocking
at
a
a baseball
stadium,
game.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
arena.
I can put that on my resume. Like, dude, I've rocked at a baseball arena. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not many people can say that, So it's like just those little experiences. And again, even though, just that kind of stuff, it's just stuff that you can carry with you, like every single day, even as you get older. It's
I
good
love it.
stuff. Good stuff. I love it. Well, I really want to thank both of you for coming on. This has been amazing. An hour and 10 minutes has gone by
been
super
fun.
quickly.
Yeah.
Thanks
Which
for
I
having
love.
us.
And,
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I appreciate you guys coming on. Before we wrap up, do you want to just share maybe some things that you guys have coming up? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but just to kind of fill everybody in and where people can connect with you, that kind of stuff. you know?
Sure. Yeah, Rube.
So I have a couple of shows coming up in February. I'm doing a show with him at the Mill, January 15th. It's
Mill
mainly
Yard.
him. He's on the bill, but I'm doing a couple of songs with him.
Sure.
Him and Adam Payne. But I have my own shows, I'm trying to think, February 2nd at Korean Museum in Manchester. They have it a Valentine's night. Then
With Harry.
with Harry,
Bush.
thank you.
Yep.
Great musician out of Lowell.
Okay.
You have Mola.
Well, hold on. Before that, I have.
Milliard.
I said the Milliard,
You
Milliard Courier Museum.
You have another Milliard gig too.
I do
Yeah. With that
on the
one.
11th.
Yep.
Oh yes, my bad. I'm like I do. Like sometimes he's my bookie.
Yeah,
so I'm
hey,
like, wait, I do.
hey,
Yeah. So the 11th. That's a Sunday.
Yes.
Saturday or Sunday. It's the 11th though.
Oh,
It's the 11th.
Yeah, I have to check.
It's
That's with Harry
a
too.
Saturday.
Saturday. Thank
It's a
you.
Saturday.
It's a Saturday because then I have a show actually on Valentine's evening at Mola Foods in Nashua, and it's her Taste of Africa event, Valentine's special. And she's been doing these events since last April, and I've been rocking with her and performing for the events with her. So we have a great partnership forming there.
Nice.
And then I have my show at Slade's on March 30th. That's in Boston.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to get more
You
stuff
you
in
pretty
Boston.
much covered my shows.
Your shows too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I have an EP coming out with Hellhound.
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
Yeah, that's gonna be fire with the whole crew
Yeah,
up
shout out
there.
to
I'm gonna
Hellhound.
some features. I might hit you and
Let's do it.
Mr. Murphy
That would be so dope.
up too.
That would be so dope.
Yep.
For sure.
So we'll talk.
And we're both just writing in the meanwhile too. Yeah,
And I got a new release go with DJ Myth
it's so dope.
right
Shout
now.
out to Myth.
Yeah, shout out to Myth.
Shout out to Myth. Great guy. Where can people connect with you? Socials or anything? What would be the, they hear this and like, hey, we want to learn more of your story.
Ruby Shabazz on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know about Twitter. I don't know what's going on with Twitter. But
I don't use Twitter that much, honestly.
and yeah, that's the best way. I'm gonna work on a new website, but I'm always on Facebook and Instagram. You can hit me up there.
Same, feetheevolutionist.com. But I'm on all. If you just type in Fee the Evolutionist,
He's going to pop up.
I'll pop
Best
up.
believe.
Absolutely.
Nice. Well, thank you again so much for being here. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being on the pod.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. 1,000 thank yous. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Shout out to everybody. Again, shout out 41st Studios, MoCG Media for having us, putting all this together. Appreciate everybody supporting the podcast. But until next time, my name is Jay Faith. This is Ruby, Fee the Evolutionist.
Hey.
And this is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast. We'll catch y'all next time. What's up?